The Valaxian warships entered the solar system silently. Their dark hulls absorbed light rather than reflected it. 500 ships, each larger than the largest human spacecraft ever built. They had conquered 10,000 worlds before reaching Earth. They expected this would be no different. Lisa Wilkins stared at her radar screen inside the Jupiter Defense Station. She blinked twice, then rubbed her eyes. The blips didn't disappear. Something was wrong. Very wrong. "Sir, I'm picking up multiple contacts just beyond the orbit of Saturn," she said. Commander Joe Phillips looked up from his coffee. "How many?" "Hundreds, sir. They're not broadcasting any identification signals." The commander put down his cup. "Sound the alarm." Now. Red lights flashed across the station. Crew members ran to their battle stations. They had trained for this moment, but none truly believed it would come. "Open a channel to Earth Command," Phillips ordered. Before Lisa could respond, the first energy beam struck the station. The walls shook. Oxygen alarms sounded. "We're under attack." Phillips shouted into the communication system. "Repeat, Jupiter Station is under attack by unknown forces." Across the solar system, Earth's outpost stations reported the same thing. Enormous ships of unknown design were firing without warning. No attempts at communication. No demands for surrender. On Earth, President Alan Garcia was woken at 3:15 a.m. His aide's face was pale as he delivered the news. "Mr. President, we've lost contact with our outer system defenses. We're under attack." Garcia didn't waste time asking questions. "Activate Protocol Omega. Now." For 50 years, Earth had secretly prepared for this possibility. Bunkers built beneath major cities. Weapon systems hidden on the far side of the moon. A fleet of advanced spacecraft kept secret from the public to avoid panic. As the Valaxian fleet moved inward through the solar system, they encountered something they hadn't expected: resistance. Earth's hidden fleet emerged from behind the moon. 100 ships against 500. Bad odds, but humans were used to bad odds. Captain Frank Murphy led the first squadron of fighters. His voice was steady as he addressed his pilots. "Remember your training. Stay in formation. Target their engine sections." He paused. "Let's show these aliens they picked the wrong planet." The battle near Mars orbit was fierce. Earth ships were smaller but faster. The aliens clearly didn't expect much of a fight. Murphy's squadron slipped through their formation and targeted a massive dreadnought. "Firing main weapons," Murphy said calmly. The concentrated energy beams from 5 Earth fighters struck the alien ship at the same point. A massive explosion tore through its hull. The dreadnought's lights flickered and died as it drifted sideways. "We got one," shouted Lisa Chen, Murphy's wingman. "Stay focused," Murphy replied. 2 more to go. The Earth fleet fought with unexpected skill. Before the battle ended, they had destroyed 3 Valaxian dreadnoughts and damaged dozens more smaller ships. It wasn't a victory, but it wasn't the easy conquest the aliens expected. Supreme Commander Zirax watched from his flagship as the Earth forces retreated toward their planet. His second-in-command approached cautiously. "Supreme Commander, we've lost 3 capital ships." Zirax turned slowly. In his 1,000 years commanding the Valaxian expansion, no primitive world had ever destroyed even one of their vessels. "Impossible," he said. "The reports are confirmed. These humans use primitive technology, but their tactics are unexpected." Zirax stared at the blue planet on his view screen. "Prepare a full report on this world. I want to know everything about these humans." Back on Earth, President Garcia addressed an emergency meeting of world leaders. "Today we faced our first contact with alien life. It was not peaceful." He paused, looking at each face around the table. "But we bloodied their nose. We showed them Earth won't fall easily." The room was silent as the reality sank in. Humanity was at war with an enemy that had conquered thousands of worlds. "We've been preparing for this possibility for generations," Garcia continued. "Now we need to stand united. Not as separate nations, but as one planet, one people. If we fight among ourselves, we all die. Around the table, former enemies nodded in agreement. The human race had always been divided, but now they had something bigger to unite against. The Valaxians would return. Everyone knew that. But next time, Earth would be ready. 6 months passed since the first attack. Earth used this time wisely. Every nation pooled their resources and knowledge to prepare for the next invasion. Old enemies became allies. There was no more room for human conflicts when the stars themselves held danger. Dr. Olivia Sloan hadn't slept properly in weeks. Her lab at the United Defense Research Center was filled with pieces of alien technology recovered from the battle. Body parts of fallen Valaxian soldiers floated in clear tanks. "I think I found something," she said to her assistant. She pointed to a scan of the alien brain. "Their neural systems are different from ours. They respond strongly to certain electromagnetic frequencies." Her assistant leaned closer. "What does that mean for us?" "It means we might have a weapon." Olivia smiled for the first time in months. Earth's magnetosphere naturally shields us from these frequencies. It might explain why we're more resistant to their weapons than they expected. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic Ocean, Navy SEAL John Carlson prepared his team for the most important mission of their lives. "This is a grab-and-go operation," he told the 12 soldiers in the briefing room. "Intel says a Valaxian scout ship has landed in the Arctic Circle. We go in, capture the ship and any aliens we find, then get out before their main fleet notices." The soldiers nodded. They were the best Earth had to offer, but they were about to face technology thousands of years more advanced than their own. Their stealth helicopter approached a landing site under the cover of a snowstorm. The alien ship gleamed like black metal, despite the snow collecting on its surface. "Move in," Carlson ordered through his radio. The team advanced silently across the snow. 2 Valaxian guards stood outside their ship. They were tall, nearly 7 feet, with skin that shifted colors like an octopus. Now, Carlson gave the signal. Earth soldiers fired their weapons, special bullets designed to penetrate the alien armor. The guards fell, but not before one activated an alarm. The ship's entrance opened and more Valaxians poured out. The battle was fierce. Carlson watched 3 of his team fall to alien weapons that seemed to melt human flesh on contact. But the SEALs pushed forward. 7 Valaxians lay dead before the last 3 retreated into their ship. "Plant the charges," Carlson ordered. Explosive devices attached to the ship's hull detonated, creating a hole large enough for the soldiers to enter. Inside, they faced the 3 remaining aliens. 2 more SEALs died in the close-quarters fight, but they succeeded in subduing 1 Valaxian while killing the others. "Package secured," Carlson reported through his radio as his remaining team dragged the unconscious alien from the ship. "We need immediate extraction." Back at Earth Defense Headquarters, President Garcia personally oversaw the interrogation of the captured Valaxian. The alien was secured to a chair, its skin shifting between purple and deep blue. "Why did you attack us without warning?" Garcia asked. The translator device took a moment to process his words. The alien's response came through in a mechanical voice. "We are the Valaxian Empire. We conquer. It is what we do. You've conquered other worlds before us. 10,000 worlds. All fell quickly." The alien's skin flickered to a yellowish color. "Until Earth. You are different." Dr. Sloan stepped forward. "How are we different?" "Your gravity is stronger than most worlds. Your species is violent by nature. Most civilizations we encounter have evolved beyond regular warfare. They surrender after one demonstration of our power." The alien's eyes blinked sideways. "You fought back. You destroyed 3 Imperial dreadnoughts. This has never happened before." The humans exchanged glances. Garcia leaned forward. "Tell us about your Empire's weaknesses." The alien's skin turned deep red. "The Empire has no weaknesses. We have conquered the galaxy for 1,000 years. Earth will fall like all others." But Dr. Sloan noticed something important. When she activated a small device in her pocket, one that emitted a specific electromagnetic frequency, the alien flinched. "I think you do have weaknesses," she said quietly, "and we're going to find all of them." Across Earth, defenses grew stronger every day. New weapons were developed. Soldiers trained. The entire planet prepared for war. The Valaxians would return with greater force. But this time, Earth had knowledge. They had technology. And most importantly, they had something the Valaxians had never faced before, a species that refused to surrender. They came back 3 months later, thousands of ships this time, not hundreds. The skies darkened over major cities as massive Valaxian vessels hovered above. Their message was broadcast on all frequencies in perfect English. "People of Earth, your resistance is unusual but futile. Surrender your leaders and accept Valaxian rule, or we will destroy your cities one by one." No one responded. Earth had prepared for this moment. In Washington, D.C., Major Samantha Reeves directed her soldiers into position. The streets were empty of civilians. Everyone had moved to underground shelters built during the 6-month preparation period. "Remember your training," she told her troops. "Their weapons are stronger, but we know this city. Every street, every building, every sewer tunnel. Let them come to us." The Valaxians landed their ground forces in the center of the city. Thousands of 7-foot alien soldiers marched from their ships, expecting quick victory. They had conquered countless worlds this way before. Show force, capture the leadership, and the planet surrenders. But Earth was different. The first trap was triggered when the Valaxians reached the White House. Explosives buried under the roads detonated, swallowing hundreds of alien soldiers into the earth. From windows and rooftops, human snipers fired special bullets designed to penetrate Valaxian armor. "Fall back to position 2. Samantha ordered as the aliens regrouped. Her forces retreated in good order, luring the Valaxians deeper into the maze of prepared killing zones. Similar battles raged in cities across the globe. In Beijing, civilian engineer Kevin Chen led a team that had converted ordinary construction equipment into weapons. They used a modified concrete pump to spray the aliens with a chemical that hardened on contact with their skin. "Keep them contained in the financial district," Kevin shouted over the radio. "Don't let them reach the bunkers." The Valaxians fought back fiercely. Their weapons turned buildings to ash and melted the pavement. But for every block they took, they paid heavily in blood. And they gained nothing of value. Earth's leaders and critical infrastructure had been moved to secret locations. In Nairobi, Dr. William Amandi used his knowledge of the land to help local fighters ambush Valaxian patrols. They struck quickly from hidden positions, then disappeared into underground tunnels before the aliens could respond. "They don't understand our world," William told his fighters as they prepared another ambush. "They think because they have better weapons, they should win easily, but they don't know our planet like we do." The fighting continued for 3 weeks. The Valaxians had expected to secure major capitals within hours, as they had on thousands of other worlds. Instead, they found themselves trapped in urban combat against an enemy that refused to follow the rules of conventional warfare. On his flagship above Earth, Supreme Commander Zirax received increasingly desperate reports from his ground forces. "What do you mean you cannot locate their leadership?" he demanded. His general's image flickered on the communication screen. "The humans don't fight like other species. They hide, then attack when we're vulnerable. They know their terrain perfectly. We're losing too many soldiers for minimal gains." Zirax slammed his fist on the control panel. "This is unacceptable. We are the Valaxian Empire. We have conquered 10,000 worlds. Perhaps we should withdraw and reconsider our approach," the general suggested cautiously. "These humans are unlike any species we've encountered." Zirax wanted to refuse, but the numbers didn't lie. The Empire had lost more soldiers in 3 weeks on Earth than in the last century of conquests. "Order all forces to return to the ships," he finally commanded. "We will withdraw to orbit and develop a new strategy." As the Valaxian forces retreated across the globe, humans emerged from their positions to witness the aliens' retreat. They didn't cheer or celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. President Garcia addressed the world from his underground command center. Today, we have shown the Valaxian Empire that Earth will not fall easily. We have forced them to retreat, but they will return. We must continue to prepare, to build, and to unite. This is humanity's greatest test, and we will not fail. Across the stars, news spread of the unusual world that had resisted the mighty Valaxian Empire. For the first time in 1,000 years, the invincible conquerors had failed. Earth's leaders gathered in the underground war room. The holographic display showed the Valaxian fleet still orbiting the planet. They had retreated from the ground but hadn't left the solar system. "We can't just wait for them to attack again," said Admiral Nicole Benson. She pointed to the largest cluster of enemy ships. "They're regrouping near Mars, specifically around Phobos." President Garcia nodded. "Dr. Sloan, what have you learned from the captured Valaxian technology?" Olivia Sloan stepped forward. Her team had been working day and night to understand the alien ships. "We've made two major breakthroughs," she said. "First, we can now create weapons that target their neural weaknesses. Second, we've figured out how their faster-than-light drives work." A murmur ran through the room. Faster-than-light travel had been theoretical for humans before the Valaxians arrived. "Are you saying we can build our own FTL ships?" Garcia asked. "Not exactly. But we can modify our existing vessels using salvaged Valaxian parts." Olivia displayed a diagram on the screen. "We've already begun upgrading 12 of our largest ships." Admiral Benson stood straighter. "Then it's time we take the fight to them." The plan was bold. Instead of waiting for the next invasion, Earth would strike first. Their target, the Valaxian forward base on Phobos, Mars's largest moon. Lieutenant Ryan Jackson checked his gear one last time before boarding the transport ship. His team of 20 soldiers had been selected for the most dangerous part of the mission. "I won't lie to you," he told his team. "This is a one-way trip for most of us. But if we succeed, we give Earth a fighting chance." The soldiers nodded solemnly. They all understood the stakes. On the bridge of Earth's flagship, now named Defiance, Admiral Benson gave the order to depart. "All ships, prepare for faster-than-light jump. Target, Phobos." The 12 modified Earth vessels vanished from orbit in flashes of blue light. When they reappeared near Mars, the Valaxian fleet was caught completely by surprise. They had never been counterattacked by a species they were conquering. "All ships, open fire," Benson commanded. Earth vessels targeted the Valaxian ships with new weapons designed by Dr. Sloan. The electromagnetic pulse bombs bypassed the alien shields and disrupted their neural-linked control systems. While the space battle raged, Ryan Jackson and his team launched in stealth pods toward the Phobos base. They wore special suits that masked their life signs from Valaxian sensors. Landing in 30 seconds, Ryan told his team as their pod approached the moon's surface, "Remember, our objective is the command center." They landed without detection and quickly moved through the alien base. The layout was familiar thanks to data from the captured scout ship. 2 soldiers died when they encountered a patrol, but the team pressed on. They reached the command center and faced heavy resistance. 8 more soldiers fell in the intense firefight, but Ryan and his remaining team members broke through. "Plant the device," he ordered. His tech specialist, Diane Powell, connected a small box to the Valaxian computer systems. It contained a virus she had created by studying their technology. "Uploading now," she said. "It will take 3 minutes." Those were the longest 3 minutes of Ryan's life. Valaxian reinforcements tried to break into the command center. His team held them off, though 3 more soldiers died in the process. "Upload complete," Diane finally announced. Across the base, Valaxian systems began to shut down. Their shields failed. Their weapons went offline. Their communications died. "Admiral, the virus is working," Ryan reported through his radio. The base is defenseless. Begin bombardment. From orbit, the Earth fleet launched a devastating attack on the now vulnerable Valaxian base. Explosions ripped through the moon's surface as the aliens' main fortress in the solar system crumbled. Get to the extraction point. Admiral Benson ordered Ryan's team. We're sending a shuttle. Only Ryan, Diane, and 2 others from the original 20 made it to the shuttle. But as they flew back to the Defiance, they knew their sacrifice had been worth it. Earth had won its first major victory against the Valaxian Empire. More importantly, they had captured the base's navigation data. It revealed the locations of nearby Valaxian colonies and supply depots. For the first time, humans knew where to find the enemy beyond their own solar system. Earth was no longer just defending. Now they were taking the war to the stars. 3 months after the victory at Phobos, Earth was ready for its next mission. The navigation data had revealed something important. The nearest star system to Earth, Proxima Centauri, had been conquered by the Valaxians 50 years earlier. The native species there lived as slaves. Colonel Jason Howard studied the mission briefing. He had been chosen to lead the first human expedition beyond the solar system. Our objectives are clear, he told the assembled soldiers and diplomats. Defeat the Valaxian garrison at Proxima Centauri and establish friendly contact with the local species, the Centaurians. The 5 Earth ships prepared for the journey. They had been fully upgraded with Valaxian technology. The flagship, named Freedom, carried not just soldiers but also diplomats and scientists. All ships report ready, Colonel, said his second-in-command, Captain Laura Boyd. Jason nodded. Begin faster than light jump sequence. The journey to Proxima Centauri took only hours instead of the years it would have required before. When they arrived, sensors showed a small Valaxian presence, just 2 warships and a ground base. They're not expecting us, Jason said. They'd never thought a primitive species like humans could reach them. The battle in space was brief. The Valaxian ships barely had time to raise their shields before Earth's electromagnetic pulse weapons disabled their systems. On the planet below, the alien garrison scrambled to prepare defenses. Jason led the ground assault personally. 300 Earth soldiers against roughly the same number of Valaxians. But the humans had the advantage of surprise and their new weapons designed to target alien neural weaknesses. Forward, Jason ordered as they pushed toward the main Valaxian compound. The aliens fought back with their usual ferocity, but Earth forces had learned from previous battles. They used portable EMP devices that disrupted the Valaxian neural systems, leaving the aliens disoriented and vulnerable. Within 6 hours, the battle was over. The Valaxian garrison surrendered, something unheard of in the Empire's history. They had always fought to the death before. As the Earth forces secured the area, strange creatures emerged from hiding places around the compound. They were the Centaurians, slim beings with 4 arms and large eyes that glowed softly in different colors. They watched the humans with a mixture of fear and hope. Ambassador Mary Rodriguez approached them slowly, hands open to show she carried no weapons. "We come from Earth," she said through a translation device. "We are here to help you." The Centaurians spoke among themselves in musical tones. Finally, one stepped forward. Its eyes glowed a gentle blue. "I am Elder Thax," the translator converted its sounds. "You have defeated our masters. This has never happened before." Mary nodded. "The Valaxians conquered our world too, but we fought back. Now we want to help others do the same." Elder Thax seemed confused. "Fight back. No species has fought back against the Valaxians in 1,000 years. We surrendered immediately when they came, as all do." The concept seemed alien to the Centaurians. Mary realized that generations of oppression had made the very idea of resistance foreign to most galactic species. "On Earth, we have a long history of fighting for freedom," she explained. "We've had many wars among ourselves, but we've always valued liberty above all else." Over the next days, humans and Centaurians began to work together. The aliens were naturally gifted engineers, and they were amazed by human determination and creativity. "Your technology is less advanced than the Valaxians," Elder Thax told Jason as they toured a Centaurian workshop. "But you use it in ways they never imagined. Your adaptability is remarkable." The Centaurians shared their own technology with the humans. Together, they began planning the liberation of nearby systems. Word spread quickly through Valaxian territory. A species had not only resisted the Empire, but was now freeing conquered worlds. For the first time in centuries, hope flickered across the stars. On the Valaxian throne world, Emperor Zorax received the news of Proxima Centauri's fall with rage. "Find these humans," he ordered his generals. "Destroy their planet. Erase them from existence." But it was already too late. The revolution had begun, and Earth was leading the way. 5 years passed since the liberation of Proxima Centauri. What began as Earth's fight for survival had grown into a galactic movement. Dozens of worlds had been freed from Valaxian control, and each liberation brought new allies to the coalition. General Peter Gonzalez stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Liberator. At 55, he had seen humanity go from a single planet fighting alone to the leaders of an interstellar rebellion. "Status report on the Regellian fleet," he asked his communications officer. "They'll arrive in 6 hours, General. The Procyon engineers have finished upgrading their weapons as planned." Peter nodded. The coalition now included many species, each bringing unique abilities. The Regellians were masters of stealth technology. The Procyans were brilliant engineers. The Syrians had intimate knowledge of Valaxian supply routes from centuries of serving them. Diplomat Elizabeth Warren entered the bridge. She had been instrumental in maintaining the delicate political balance of the coalition. "The Arcturus delegation has agreed to join us," she announced. "That makes 23 species now fighting under Earth's banner." Peter smiled briefly. "Good work. We'll need them for what's coming." What was coming was the largest battle of the rebellion so far. Intelligence from defecting Valaxians revealed that Overlord Drax, who had replaced Zorax after the Empire's early failures, had gathered the main Valaxian fleet at Betelgeuse. From there, he planned to launch a massive counterattack against the coalition. "We can't let them take the initiative," Peter told the assembled coalition commanders in the war room. "We must strike first, at Betelgeuse." The plan was risky. The coalition would be committing nearly all its forces to a single battle. If they lost, the rebellion might be crushed forever. Captain Susan Miller of the Earth Dreadnought Defiance reviewed her ship's systems one final time. Her vessel would lead the most dangerous part of the attack, a direct assault on the Valaxian flagship. "All systems ready, Captain," her first officer reported. Susan took a deep breath. "Begin jump sequence." Next stop, Betelgeuse. The coalition fleet arrived at the edge of the Betelgeuse system. 300 ships from 23 different worlds, united under Earth leadership. Facing them were over 500 Valaxian warships. "They've spotted us," Susan reported to General Gonzalez. "Their fleet is moving to engage." Peter's voice came through clear on the communication system. "All ships, battle formation Delta. Remember the plan." The coalition fleet split into 3 groups. The Regellian vessels, with their advanced stealth systems, disappeared from sensors as they moved to flank the enemy. The main force, led by Peter on the Liberator, engaged the Valaxians head-on, and Susan's strike team of 20 ships prepared for their crucial mission. The space around Betelgeuse lit up with weapons fire. Explosions bloomed silently in the vacuum. Ships from both sides were damaged or destroyed. "Now," Peter ordered over the fleet-wide channel. The Regellian ships suddenly appeared behind the Valaxian fleet, attacking from the rear. At the same moment, Susan's strike team accelerated to maximum speed, aiming for a gap in the enemy formation. "Hold course," Susan ordered as enemy fire rocked her ship. "We only get one shot at this." The Defiance took heavy damage as it led the strike team through the Valaxian lines. 3 of her escort ships were destroyed. But they broke through, and suddenly the massive Valaxian flagship loomed ahead. "Target their command center," Susan ordered. "Fire everything we've got." The Defiance and its remaining escorts unleashed a concentrated barrage at a single point on the flagship. The Coalition had learned that Valaxian ships were strongest at the front, but vulnerable from below. The flagship's shields failed. The Defiance's main weapon, an electromagnetic pulse cannon designed specifically to target Valaxian neural systems, fired directly into the command center. Across the battlefield, Valaxian ships suddenly began to drift aimlessly. Without direction from the flagship, their coordinated defense fell apart. "Overlord Drax is dead," Peter announced to the Coalition fleet. "Press the attack." Without their commander and with their formations broken, the Valaxian fleet began to retreat. The Battle of Betelgeuse was over. The Coalition had won its greatest victory yet. As Susan surveyed the damage to her ship, she received a transmission from General Gonzalez. "Captain Miller, your strike team just changed the course of this war. The path to the Valaxian home system is now open." The Coalition had started as Earth standing alone. Now they were taking the fight to the heart of the Empire itself. 10 years had passed since the Valaxians first entered Earth's solar system. 10 years of fighting, sacrifice, and gradually turning the tide. Now representatives from over 500 formerly conquered worlds gathered on Earth for a historic meeting. The Galactic Concordance, they called it. The first ever gathering of free worlds in a millennium. The United Nations building in New York had been rebuilt and expanded after the Valaxian ground invasion. Now its Great Hall was filled with beings from across the stars. Some had tentacles instead of arms. Others floated on cushions of air. A few were so different from humans that special environments had been created for them. President Linda Mitchell of the United Earth Government stood at the podium. At 48, she had been a local mayor when the war began. Now she addressed the greatest gathering of species in recorded history. 10 years ago, we stood alone, she began. A single planet against an empire that had conquered the galaxy. We did not know if we would survive. But we knew we would never surrender. Murmurs of agreement came from the assembled delegates. Today, the Valaxian Empire has been reduced to their home system. Their 1,000-year reign of conquest has ended. And we gather here not as conquerors ourselves, but as equals seeking a better future. Linda's proposal was revolutionary. A new interstellar alliance based on mutual respect and self-determination. Each world would govern itself. No species would dominate another. A council of worlds would address disputes, with each member having an equal voice regardless of their technology level or military power. Dr. Henry Rodriguez, Earth's leading expert on the psychology of the liberated species, watched from the side of the hall. He had studied why Earth had been different from all other conquered worlds. The Valaxians never understood humans, he explained to Elder Thax of the Centaurians, who stood beside him. Most worlds they encountered had evolved in relative peace. Their societies had no concept of resistance. Thax's eyes glowed a thoughtful green. While your Earth had thousands of years of conflict. Henry nodded. Ironically, our violent past prepared us for this moment. We knew how to fight. More importantly, we knew why to fight. After 3 days of discussion, the Galactic Concordance was signed. For the first time in a millennium, the galaxy had a framework for peace that wasn't based on dominance. Even the Valaxians themselves were eventually included. Their remaining leaders had been overthrown by their own people after the defeat at Betelgeuse. The new Valaxian government renounced conquest and asked to join the Concordance as equals. Many opposed this, but Ambassador Laura Phillips of Earth supported the idea. If we exclude them, we become what we fought against, she argued. The cycle of revenge must end somewhere. With strict conditions, the Valaxians were accepted. Their military was dismantled. Their worlds were open to cultural exchange. Slowly, the species that had terrorized the galaxy began to change. 5 years after the Concordance was signed, ships from hundreds of worlds orbited peacefully around Earth. In schools across the galaxy, children of former enemies played together. Young Valaxians learned art and music instead of conquest and domination. On the anniversary of the first attack on Earth, Laura stood at the Great Memorial in what had once been Central Park. Names of fallen soldiers from 100 worlds were engraved on walls of white stone. A young Valaxian approached her, looking nervous. "Ambassador Phillips, I am Kilax. My grandfather fought against Earth in the first invasion." Laura tensed slightly, but nodded. "What can I do for you, Kilax?" "I wanted to say thank you." The young Valaxian bowed deeply. "My people were taught that conquest was our purpose. You showed us another way." Across the galaxy, a saying had spread among the stars. As strong as Earth, it meant more than military power. It meant the strength to resist oppression, to fight for freedom, and ultimately, to forgive. Earth had not merely survived. It had changed the course of galactic history. The human spirit of resistance, adaptability, and determination had proven to be the most powerful force in the Milky Way. And as the sun set over the memorial, Laura realized that the greatest victory wasn't defeating the Valaxians. It was creating a galaxy where such a war would never happen again.